this was one thing that I wanted to say. I mentioned earlier about young boys not having the affirmation of a man, so they go through life and they've never had a man affirm them. And I always like to use a story. About to go to the Bible again. I always like to use a story of King David when the prophet came to the house of Jesse and he was looking for the next king to anoint. And Jesse had all his sons lined up, and the prophet was looking like, don't you have another son? Like, he's looking at all these boys, and then he's like, is there another one? Because all I see is this little scrawny runt. And he's like, no, these are all my boys. And then God was like, that's him. He's looking, and he was saying that, you look at the outward, but God looks at the inward. And right. So basically what I get from that is where I'll tell young boys, like, I see the king inside of you. So regardless of what it looks like now, I don't see your current situation. And right. I say that to say this: when was the last time we affirmed a young man? Like, you have a son, so you're good. You have a son, you help raise your brother, so you're good. You help affirm, young men. So when was the last time? There's a bunch of boys in gangs right now. There's a bunch of boys out there ready to do drive-bys, ready to rob, ready to sell dope, ready to do this. You know why? Because they never had their dad look at them and be like, you know what? I see the king in you. I see greatness in you. There's something bigger inside of you than what you're doing now. And I say that to say this: when I got married 10 years ago, I was chilling off in the corner, just waiting for them to call me out, like call me up to come take my place. Right. And my dad saw me and he walked over there, and I'm like, what's up? I'm looking at him, cause I'm about to get married. I'm like, shit, if I'm gonna run now. So, I'm sitting there and I'm just looking off in the space. And then he came over to me and like, what's going on? And he like looked me in my eyes, and he put both hands on my cheek, and I'm like, what the fuck is about to happen here? And he kissed me on my forehead, and I never forget. And he said, I am so proud of you. And, and when I got married when I was 33, and when I tell you that as a 33-year-old man, the kid inside of me started crying out, because I was like, man, here I am. I've been wanting to hear those words for so long. Like, me and my dad are like so close. But right. my dad was never the type of dad to be like, I love you. You know how my dad told you that he loved you? He was home every night. He kept a roof over your head. He kept clothes on your back. He kept food in the fridge. You always had a dad when you came home. He never was a type to say that I love you. He wasn't that mushy type. He didn't come to games or anything like that because he was always working. He wasn't that type. But at 33 years old, my dad kissed me on my forehead and told me how proud he was of me. He just randomly out of the blue. So, and if I could be a 33-year-old man and the kid inside of me ignited, what would happen now if you have these kids now with their dads still at their young age, and their dad would get up off his macho high horse and go get his son and say, I'm so proud of you. I see the king in you.